Hello, so welcome to the Fat Loss Masterclass. I am super excited to have you on board tonight. You are in for an absolute epic presentation, absolute workshop tonight. So what we're going to do is I'm going to break down our unique Revive method and how that's helping women lose at least 20 pounds within 12 weeks. But most importantly, how it's helping them to take control of their health, to rediscover their former vibrant, confident self. So if you're excited, throw me a hashtag excited in the comments, and we're not going to hang around. We're going to get straight into this. And most importantly, another little bonus for you: if you stick around right to the end, and I mean like right to the very end, I'm going to be dropping a link to get access to some free bonus gifts. Completely free, there's no catch. All you got to do is stick around for the entire presentation and you're going to get some bonuses right at the very end. Now, you're probably wondering if this is right for you. So if you stick around, not only are you going to get some free bonus gifts, but you're going to discover how our clients are throwing out their baggy clothes, getting slimmer waistline, despite having really busy schedules. We work with women that are professionals, that have highly demanding jobs, have busy lives, grandchildren. They manage to put healthy habits on autopilot. They exercise less and get better results. We help them to feel more confident, comfortable, crush negative self-talk. If any of this applies to you, then you're in for a real treat tonight. And this workshop in particular is especially applicable to those women that want to say yes to drinks with the girls. They want to go out for meals with loved ones without stressing about what to wear, without worrying about what they can and can't eat. And they want to be able to eat their favorite foods. They want to be able to eat chocolate. They want to be able to eat pizza. They want to be able to eat carbs, drink wine, and lose 10, 15, anything up to 60 pounds or more. And this presentation, this workshop tonight, is for women that are frustrated, disheartened, that are, sick of this yo-yo dieting, jumping from diet to diet, and maybe they're confused now. They don't know what to do. If any of these apply to you, if all of them apply, if one of them applies, just drop me a 1 in the comments below so I can see that, the women that are watching tonight, this is applicable for them. We've helped hundreds of women with these problems. Women that are stuck, women that are gradually seeing the number on the scales creep up, that feel uncomfortable when they lean forward. They can feel their trousers, cutting into their stomach. And if this is you, okay, this is for you. However, I'll be straight up. I can't help you if you're just looking for another quick fix. If you're looking for that magic pill, because they don't exist, and I'm going to explain that tonight. I can't help you if you're not prepared to make some changes. If you think you can just carry on as you are and things will be fine and it will all work out, I can't help you. And I also definitely can't help you if you think you already know it all and you're not open to learn. Because let's be honest, we don't know what we don't know. And whilst I can't cover our entire 12-week program tonight, I'm going to give you some incredible guidance and tips. So as I said, make sure you stick around, not just for the free gift at the end. You're going to learn a load. Now, typically, what I find is most of the women I speak to, the reason they're in this position is the big problem is they're stuck in this traditional dieting model. And tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down 3 secrets, 3 massive tips to help you, to help women like this, achieve a more sustainable way of doing things. Now, if you don't know what I mean by this traditional dieting model, it's this. Okay, now I'm going to go through this and explain this a little bit, but essentially you get to a point where you're not happy. You're like, right, I need to do something about this. And you jump to a diet. It could be keto, it could be a diet club, could be intermittent fasting, whatever it is. And there's some form of restriction. So for keto, no carbs. With the diet clubs, it's like sins and points. With calorie counting, it's like setting this calorie goal that you can't go over. And whatever it is, there's some form of restriction. And you're cutting foods out, or you're not allowing yourself certain things because they're bad or whatever. And this actually increases cravings. And what typically happens is at some point the diet breaks. Okay, women on this diet break. And then they'll eat that food that they're not allowed. They cheat on the diet. And then they feel guilty and there's shame. And typically they then leads to binging, overeating, and this, I'll start again Monday, or I'll start again next month, or I'll start again in the new year, or I'll start again whenever. Now, if this sounds familiar, just throw me a yes in the comments. And if that's the case, then tonight is going to be perfect for you, because we're going to break down how to do things differently. So what we typically find with women that follow these traditional dieting models is that they're impatient, they're inconsistent, they hop from one diet to the next, hoping to find this magic diet, this one thing that's going to work for them. And they come to us and they're like, I've tried everything, nothing works. That's not the case. I'm going to show you that tonight. They typically leave things to the last minute. So they get to the point where they're really unhappy. Their health is a problem. It's a real worry. And I'm going to show you tonight, you want to try and get to it before then. Okay, prevention is better than cure. They cut out food groups. They avoid social occasions. They avoid going out for dinner. They avoid all the stuff they love, because they're after this quick fix, and they follow a cookie cutter plan, a generic approach. They follow the same diet, the same plan that hundreds or thousands of other women are following. I'm going to show you tonight, you're an individual and you need something that fits you, fits your lifestyle. And put a yes in the comments if you think that what you need either one or all of these. That you need, these traditional dieting models have made you believe and made you think that you need a list of foods, you need a recipe list, you need recipe books, meal plans, you've got to cut out all the stuff you love, you've got to exercise more, or the reason they failed is because you just haven't got enough motivation or willpower. Tonight I'm going to show you that that's not true. And here's the good news, right? Good news is that it's not your fault. Okay, if any of this is applicable to you, it's not your fault. It's the model, it's the method, it's the approach that you've used. And just because everything might have failed you up till now, that doesn't mean that you can't get those long-lasting, sustainable results. Imagine that like an aeroplane kind of situation. You've gone through the challenge, you're on the runway, okay, you've got momentum. Tonight, I'm going to show you the next stages. Okay, how are you going to get that airplane off the runway? Then how, when you get to your goal, how are you going to maintain? How are you going to stay in the air? All right, and how are you going to land successfully, keep the weight off the rest of life? I'm going to go through all of that tonight. And you've taken a massive step by being here. That's shown that you're motivated, you're willing to change, and you're ready to take action, which is awesome. Okay, if you are, I want to see another hashtag excited in the comments below. So if you're ready for this and you want to find out the secrets I'm going to give and get those tips, then throw me that hashtag excited. So you're probably thinking, I'm not a menopausal woman, I'm not a woman, how can I help you? Well, my team is made up of female coaches, but in terms of me, so I'm a female transformation specialist. So I've got a sports science degree. I'm a level 4 nutritionist. I was a teacher. I've been a coach, really highly qualified. But, I've got a mum, I've got a nan, I've got a sister. I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of women now on these challenges. And I've helped hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds achieve incredible results following our unique methodology. But also, I'm a normal bloke. I love gin. I love cake. I love, wine. I love ice cream. I really love ice cream. And I want to show women like my wife, like my mum, that have had, struggled with their weight, that struggled with diets. I want to show them there's a different way. I want to show you there's a different way that you can enjoy life and still get results. And there is a different way. And what I want you to start imagining, because this is completely possible, I want you to start imagining dropping 20 pounds or more in the next 90 days. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the science-backed secrets. And these are backed by research, these are backed by science. We're highly qualified experts. Okay, this isn't, Susan who reached her goal weight once and is now the leader of the group. Okay, we are highly qualified nutritionists that have worked with hundreds, if not thousands of women that have spent tens of thousands on our education. And we're going to give you some of the science behind it. So imagine being able to eat carbs and chocolate and drink wine, exercise how you like, and still get these incredible results. Imagine knowing exactly what to do, being in full control of your body, your health, and never having to do one of those diets ever again. Just like Ange. Ange did our initial 12-week program, and she worked with me. And this is, her pictures are 8 weeks apart. She dropped 2 dress sizes within 12 weeks. These pictures are 8 weeks apart. So her body has changed even more. Since finishing the coaching, she stayed within our program. No coaching. She doesn't get any coaching anymore. She has no intervention. She just loves being a part of our community. She's now 3 dress sizes down, nearly 4. And the important thing to note here is she'd done this with exercising less. She'd done this in the middle of the pandemic while she was completing her PhD. You know, many women will say, oh, I'm too busy, I've got all of this going on. A lot of the women I'm going to show you tonight have loads going on, have achieved incredible results. Natalie, she lost 40 pounds within 6 months. When I first met her, she was meticulously calorie counting, saying, I'm on 1,200 calories and nothing's working. Since working with us, look at the change in her body. Diane, she lost 20 pounds in the first 12 weeks, which was all when she had her coaching. She's lost more than that since. And she's left us and is maintaining her weight. She's lost over 40 pounds. And this is despite trying every diet under the sun and never losing more than 15 pounds. And you're probably wondering how. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do tonight. We're going to break down some of the unique Revive method that we use. And there's 3 pillars to this, and we're going to break down those 3 pillars, and we're going to show you what we do, how we do it, how these women are getting those incredible results, so that you get an insight, so you understand those next stages. Because the challenge is only going to take you so far. It's going to take you to the end of the runway. It's going to give you some belief. It's going to give you some confidence, some momentum. But that nutrition guide, what you've learned on the challenge, is not enough. Okay, the women that work with us, they go past that. And that's why they've learned to not only lose incredible amounts of weight, but be able to keep it off. So we're going to show you how you can take control of your health for once and for all. How you can eat the foods you love, only do exercise you love, and lose that stubborn belly fat. Take a breath. And how things change for our clients, for the women that work with us. They build everything around their lifestyle, instead of the other way around. Like when you start a diet, you start changing your lifestyle. You stop going out. You avoid meals with friends. You don't eat the same food as the rest of your family. It doesn't have to be that way. And our clients enjoy the process. They have confidence in what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Who would love that? Who would love that approach? Let me know in the comments if this is what you're looking for. Okay, I want to make sure that you're all in the right place. Now, the Revive method isn't a bland, it's not, chicken, broccoli and rice. It's not super low calorie so that you're constantly feeling hungry. It's not, bombarding you with exercise. In fact, a lot of our clients don't have the time and don't do any exercise. 100% we promote exercise, and if we can help you with it, we do, but it doesn't matter. And I'm going to talk about that tonight. You're going to find out why exercise is really insignificant for your fat loss. It's not complicated, it's not unsustainable, it's the opposite. We make things as simple and easy as possible so that it is a lifelong change. So who loves the sound of this? Okay, it's going to help you achieve all of those things that we talked about at the past. If you understand how to implement these 3 pillars, the 3 secrets that I'm giving you tonight, you are going to achieve some incredible results. Now, the program is a 12-week program, and we cover a ton of stuff. Okay, we really simplify things for our clients. We really help them to go step by step, but we haven't got enough time to go through that tonight. Haven't got enough time to go through that this week. But what I'm going to go through is the 3 of the main points, okay, to really help you. How to exercise less to get better results. Our reverse bank balance eating method, and how to rewire your mindset, and why mindset's really important. So secret number 1, how to exercise less for better results. So some of you watching this have probably had or currently working with a personal trainer. We get clients that have been with personal trainers for a year, 2 years, and don't understand why they're not seeing results, because they think that exercise is the key. And personal trainers online, on social media, will say, you should be doing HIIT, and you should be doing, resistance training, you should be doing cardio. That's why you're not getting results. And they'll over-exaggerate the impact of increasing muscle mass and how it sparks metabolism and stuff like that. It's not true. The truth is that nutrition is most of the equation, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to break that down for you. So this like, I don't know what it is, a diagram, graph, is basically your daily energy expenditure and all the different components. So you see the big bit, your BMR, that's like 60%, 70%. And that's essentially the energy you need just to be in a coma, for your brain to stay working, your heart to work. So you can't really do much about that. So when people say your metabolism is broken, if it's broken, you're dead. And a lot of people will use this against women that are menopausal, and they say, the reason you can't lose weight is because your metabolism is broken. because you've done all of these diets. It's not true, because if that's true, then you'd be dead, because your metabolism is mainly consisted of your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, which is keeping you alive. The next big component is your NEAT, your non-exercise. So that's typically about 15 to 30%. And then the next one is about 10%. That's the thermic effect of food, which is basically when you eat food, you use energy to digest and consume that food. And the NEAT part, by the way, is involuntary movements like blinking, fidgeting. You notice I'm kind of all over the shop while I'm talking. And then the last bit, that little sliver right at the top, is exercise. Exercise activity thermogenicity equates for about 5 to 10%. And you probably don't believe me still, so I'm going to go through it even more. I'm going to really highlight to you that exercise for fat loss is insignificant. Now, some of you will say, oh yeah, but my smartwatch tells me I'm burning, 1,000 calories. Well, if your smartwatch tells you you're burning 1,000 calories, it's actually more likely to be somewhere between 100 and 700. Smartwatches are notoriously inaccurate by as much as 30% on average, but can be up to 90% inaccurate, which is what I'm saying. If it's telling you you've burnt 1,000 calories, it's actually somewhere between 100 and 700. And actually, in order to burn 1 pound of fat, you would need to complete 7 hours on the cross trainer. So to burn 1 pound of fat in a week, you're gonna have to do an hour on a cross trainer every day, or 6 hours of spin. So 6 days a week, you're gonna have to do an hour spin class, or 35 miles at a fast pace. Now, you might do 3 to 4 miles in an hour. So that means you're probably going to need to do 10 hours walking a week at least. And think about what the impact of that high level of exercise is. I can tell you what the research says. First of all, the research shows that a lot of exercise, especially cardio, swimming, running, increases appetite. I know that if I go into a swimming pool afterwards, I am ravenous. So yeah, you might be burning more energy, but then what happens if you start eating more? The other thing is, a lot of people, when they exercise, especially to such high intensities, is to go, oh, I've worked really hard, and they just veg out on the sofa. They reduce their NEAT. They reduce the amount that they move around, that they fidget, because they're tired, because they've worked out so hard. And then obviously there's burnout, exhaustion, and going through the menopause, women, because of the reduction in estrogen, they have a reduced capacity to deal with stress, and exercise is stress on the body. So actually it becomes harder and harder to recover. That NEAT goes lower and lower and lower, and it actually can become harder to lose weight the more you exercise. And think of it this way, if there's 168 hours in the week, even if you did an hour exercise every single day, that's only 7 hours out of 168. That's less than 5% of the week. Now, hopefully I've explained now why exercise when it comes to fat loss is insignificant. But if not, and you're like, well, that's okay, I just want to tone. Well, this is a common misconception. Toning actually means fat loss. Because let's talk about arms, right? A lot of here we go, there we go. Fat loss, okay, toning, sorry. Let's say women, I know a lot of women want to tone their arms. So we've got muscle, everyone's got muscle on their arms. But surrounding that muscle is fat. So if you want to tone, you essentially want to be more defined. You want to see more of that muscle. Now, if you just did exercise to tone, then you might build muscle, but that layer of fat is not changing. As I've talked about, it's really, really hard to lose fat through exercise. So if we don't change our diet, and we don't change our lifestyle, we don't change our behaviors, that fat will stay there. That layer of fat around the muscle will stay there, so you won't look more defined. Your arms will just look bigger. So what you need to do is focus on fat loss, and then that layer of fat gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and you can start to see the outline of the muscle, and then you look more defined, you look more toned. So if you're wanting, okay, yeah, but I need to exercise to tone. No, you don't need to exercise to tone. You need to focus on fat loss and your diet and your lifestyle and your behaviors. Now, what do we do? You're probably wondering, okay, how do your clients get those kind of results? So we do encourage movement. Okay, of course, we want you to move, and we focus on supporting our clients with resistance training. But more importantly, we focus on getting them to do movements that they love, not for fat loss, not for weight loss, for the other health benefits. So as women go through the menopause, and I should have added there, we also focus on behavior and lifestyle change and nutrition and diet, because they're vitally important, and that's what's going to get the fat loss. That's what's going to get rid of that stubborn belly fat. Now, in terms of resistance training and just exercise in general, the reason we encourage it, but it's not vital for fat loss, for the results. Obviously, I've explained that. But the reason we encourage it, especially resistance training, is because as women go through the menopause, estrogen levels go through the floor. Estrogen is a protective hormone, and it's these drop in these hormones that actually increases the risk of osteoporosis. And obviously, resistance training is the best form of training to increase muscle mass, to increase joint strength, to reduce those risks. Weight training is also really, really good at increasing carbohydrate sensitivity, so insulin sensitivity. It's also really, really good for managing hot flushes. There's evidence that shows that lifting weights helps with hot flushes. There's so much benefit there in terms of maintaining and maybe even building muscle mass, because that's really important to maintain the shape of your body. It's really important for your quality of life going forwards. And I could talk about that all night, but we're going to move on. So just to highlight what I've talked about, we've got Sam in the middle. She lost nearly 50 pounds without any exercise. Zero exercise. She worked with us in the middle of the pandemic. She was doing 14-hour days. She's got a really highly demanding job for a big company in London, and she had to homeschool her 2 children at the same time. There was no time for exercise, so we helped her do it without it. She goes for a walk occasionally, but she's lost nearly 50 pounds, completely transformed her body. Mary on the left-hand side came to us with a goal of losing 10 pounds. She's only small, and when she came to us, she fractured her ankle, so she couldn't do any exercise. We were like, don't worry, that's absolutely fine. In the 12-week program, her goal was 10 pounds. She lost 13 pounds, and since working with us, since she's left, not only has she lost a little bit more, all the weight has stayed off. She's kept the weight off, and she's still not focusing on exercise. She's starting to bring it back into her life because she loves it. She enjoys it, but she now recognizes she doesn't need to punish her body. She can do stuff she enjoys and she loves, because that's not going to have the big focus on the results. And then Joe on the right-hand side, exactly the same. No exercise, lost a hell of a load of weight. So have I shown you can exercise less, only do exercise you love, and still get amazing results? Secret number 2, this is one of the keys. Okay, remember, by the way, stick around to the end. Not only am I hopefully giving you loads of value, loads of tips, but remember, I've got those free gifts at the end. Okay, some real good bonus material. So go back to this traditional dieting model. Okay, and I'm going to go into that in a bit more detail. And what I want you to think about is, if someone tells you don't look behind you, don't look over that wall, don't do that, or oppositely, if someone told you, don't think about pink elephants, like, what are you going to do? Straight away, at the forefront of your mind is whatever someone has told you not to do. So if you're on a keto diet and you're told you can't eat carbs, or you're on this new diet and you can't have sugar, you're constantly telling yourself, I can't have that. You see it, I don't want it, I can't have it. So it's at the forefront of your mind. You're consciously telling yourself, or subconsciously telling yourself, not to have that certain thing. So actually, your cravings will increase. You'll want that more and more because you're thinking about it. And actually, this is backed by the science. There was a study where there were 2 groups of people. They were both given an amount of food, like energy-wise, that they had to stick to. One group were allowed to eat whatever they liked. They just had to stay within the certain amounts that they were given. But they could eat whatever. The other group had exactly the same, but they weren't allowed bread. That was the only rule. They could have whatever they liked, but no bread. At the end of the study, the group that were not allowed bread, that had that one rule, were told they were not allowed something, that had that restriction placed upon them, had more people drop out the study and lost less weight. Incredible, right? But this is the psychological impact of being restrictive. And this is why, and this is taken from an actual research study, 84% that attend diet clubs either never get to their goal weight, or within 2 to 5 years have regained all of the lost weight. That means that if you go to a diet club, out of every 10 people, only 1.5 people, so one person, one whole person out of every 10 is going to get to their goal weight and keep the weight off for the rest of their life. That's a really, really sad statistic. And it's partly because of this restriction. and the psychological impact that this has. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, okay, it must be exercise because I eat healthy. I can tell you so many times that we've had loads of women that have come to us and said, oh, it's not my diet, I eat healthy. Eating healthily does not equal results. So I'm going to tell you now what does get results, what really matters for fat loss. This is how every diet works. Every single diet. If you have lost weight, if you have lost body fat, you are in a calorie deficit. Now, what that means is you're consuming less calories than your body needs throughout the day. So let's say the average woman needs 2,000 calories a day. If you're consuming 1,990 calories, you're in a deficit. A very, very small deficit, but you're in a deficit. Now, there's a lot of context needed here, okay? And there's lots of issues with this, and I'm going to go through these. So make sure you listen. So again, this kind of highlights it. A lot of people will say, oh, Special K is healthy, Cocoa Pops isn't healthy. Well, actually, a bowl of Special K in terms of calories is the same as Cocoa Pops. Like, if you like Cocoa Pops and you don't like Special K, you could easily choose Cocoa Pops and get the same results. You can eat healthy food and gain weight. Healthy food still has calories. And when someone says a food is healthy, what do they mean by that? Because if you're gaining weight, then you're putting yourself at a higher risk of heart disease, you're putting yourself at a higher risk of diabetes. So is that a healthy diet? If it's making your physical health worse, if that's having an impact on how you feel about yourself, your happiness, your confidence, is that healthy? Like, health is really subjective. So it's not to say that we tell people to eat sugar and eat cakes and sweets all the time, but you can include them. They are allowed. There's no such thing as a free food, but you can include everything. You don't have to just eat vegetables and whole foods. Like, you can eat all foods. There is no good or bad foods. It's about the amounts. And this is what we help our clients to do. Now, you probably would have heard personal trainers and people online saying calorie deficit, essentially eat less, move more. But that's a bit like saying to the England football team, right, to win the World Cup, you've got to beat 6 teams and you've got to score more goals than every single one of them to win. Okay, where's the plan? Where's the strategy? Where's the how? How do you do that? How do you eat less? Do you eat less food and feel hungry so that you can't stick to it? How do you move more? And as we showed, exercise has a really insignificant impact. And then lots of people will go, oh, okay, so I just need to count calories. So a calorie deficit is not the same as counting calories. Calorie deficit is you have achieved consuming less calories than you need. Counting calories is a method for doing that, just like any other diet. So the difference being is that calories are real. So counting points are not real. It's a made up system. But calories are real. They exist. It's a unit of energy. So if you're counting calories, it's just another method, another diet. So essentially, if you want to count calories, if you've never done it before, I'd recommend it because it's an education. It will give you a bit of an eye opener to certain things. However, what you need to ask yourself are these questions. Are you going to count calories forever? Because if you're not, what happens when you stop counting calories? It's the same as any other diet. Essentially, where you're at now, you have a diet. Okay, you eat food. And obviously, you're gaining weight or you're stuck. So you need to change that diet. So what people typically do is they go to a diet or they'll go to calorie counting. Now, when you start that diet, as we've already talked about, there's some form of restriction, whatever. You get bored of it. You can't stick to it. You lose motivation for it, whatever it is. And then you have no other choices. You don't know what else to do. So you go back to the diet you were on before, like your diet, or you go to the next diet and the same thing happens. So you need to ask yourself, can you do it forever? Because if you can't, what are you then going to do? The other problem with calorie counting is there are 1 million calorie calculators online. How many calories should you eat? 20% of packages are inaccurate. So let's say you pick up a package, it's got some food, it's 500 calories. Actually, it's anywhere between 400 and 600. What about when you go out for dinner? Are you going to count calories when you go out for a meal? What about when you go to a friend's house? Are you going to ask them what they put in the food? What about when your partner or your children or your grandchildren or whatever cook for you? How are you going to count calories then? The other things you need to be aware of is, one, you're not a robot. So it's like, oh, okay, all I've got to do is eat 1,200 calories. You're not a robot. You're not just going to stick to that easily every single day, because there's going to be lots of reasons why you overeat. There's going to be lots of reasons why you won't be able to stick to it. So emotional eating, comfort eating, stress eating, tiredness, lack of preparation, lack of organization. And then as your weight decreases, scientifically, physiologically, your appetite increases. So calorie counting isn't going to help solve that problem. Calorie counting is not going to help you to reduce your appetite. Calorie counting is not going to help you with your emotional eating. It's not going to help you with your comfort eating, your stress eating, your time management. Hopefully you're starting to get the picture. Same as any other diet, it's not going to help you with those things. And there's a different way, okay? We have had clients that calorie count because it's a method that we knew that they could start with, but they never finish calorie counting. By the time they finish working with us, we show them how to do it without calorie counting. I'm going to show you some different ways as well. So imagine being able to eat your favorite foods, okay? Knowing exactly what to do, being in full control, never having to diet again. All right, like Sarah. So Sarah was one of those ladies that came to, she's like, can't be my diet. I eat healthy food, and she eat loads of vegetables, quinoa, couscous, fresh fish. Like, she did have a great diet, what people would consider healthy foods, but she'd only lost 7 pounds in 2 years. She needed to make changes to her diet, and we helped to do that. And within a year, she'd lost 45 pounds. And she no longer works with us, and she's keeping it off with ease. She looks incredible. That's her in the picture, by the way. Natalie, I've already talked about, she was meticulously calorie counting, still not seeing results. We helped her with that. She now doesn't calorie count. She now has a chocolate bar every day, and she's maintaining that 40 pounds loss ever since. And no longer calorie counting. She's doing less exercise than she used to. Has transformed her body. So how do you do this? Well, you need to be able to build your favorite foods into the equation. Okay, so include them, whether that's every day, every other day, a few times a week, so you don't feel deprived. Okay, we're not saying that there's free foods. There isn't free foods. You can't eat as much as you like of everything, but you can eat whatever you like. You can have a chocolate bar every day. You can have a glass of wine every day and still see results. What matters is that you've got that negative energy balance at the end of the week, the opposite of a bank balance, hence the reverse bank balance method. Now, the best approach, as I've already talked about, is one you can stick to. Now, in terms of the challenge, you're not going to stick to, perfect hand size measurements and clean foods, whole foods for the rest of your life. Probably not. You're probably not going to stick to those meal replacement shakes for the rest of your life, or any other crazy diet. So what are you going to do afterwards? And this is where we help our clients. And you have to create flexibility. If you are restrictive, you will increase cravings. The likelihood is you will end up binging, you will end up losing motivation. Think about how little motivation you're going to need if you're allowed a chocolate bar, if you're allowed to go out for dinner, if you're allowed a pizza. So what do? Okay, so we give our clients the tools to do it on their own. So we help educate them throughout the process. We give them 5 minutes, 30 minutes, really simplified information to help them understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. And when you really think about it, okay, do you want the answer sheet or do you want the understanding so you can do this on your own? Because if you're after the answer sheet, you're going to be stuck to that diet for the rest of your life. Like, I see women at diet clubs for years upon years upon years. Women work with us 3, 6, 9 months, and that's it. They're done. So think about, if you get the answer sheet, great. You're gonna pass that exam. You're gonna pass that test. But what about the next test if you don't have the answer sheet? What about when you go and get a job? Okay, what then? Are you gonna have the knowledge, the tools to be able to do that? So think about what actually you really need, what you really want. So what we've done, instead of a meal plan, because think about a meal plan, right? It's eat this at breakfast, eat this at lunch, eat this. How long are you going to do that for? How long are you going to stick to it? How long will it be till you get bored? What we've developed is a template. It's a bit like a pick and mix. So you have like, right, box 1, pick this. Box 2, pick this. Box 3, picks this. done. And we've given you some examples to help you. So, on there is like sausage and mash and bolognese and how to make them. But what we do is we personalize it to the individual. So we include the foods they love. We personalize the quantities to make sure they're at the right amount that they're eating. And that's just to make it so easy. It literally takes 1 minute to build your own meal. So you're in control. You're deciding what you're eating. You're building your meals. You're building your own meal plan. And you're starting to get an understanding of portion sizes and portions and everything you need. But we also focus on lifestyle and behavior change, because ultimately the reasons you overeat, the reasons why you don't stick to something, why motivation disappears, is because of other things. Because of stress, because of tiredness, because of emotions, like comfort, whatever it is. There are other reasons typically, and we're going to talk about that in a bit more detail. So this is where we're going to go into that in a lot more detail. And don't forget, if you stick around to the end, okay, we're well over halfway. We're getting towards the end now. If you stick around to the end, I've got some free gifts, free giveaways, just to say thank you for listening and for turning up tonight. So stick around. I'm going to drop you a link where you can access those. And I've got, this is probably, we're now getting to the best bit. So mindset. This is absolutely vital. This is why most diets fail people, because they focus on everything apart from the key emotional and psychological aspects. 90%, this is taken from Science Daily, 90% of diets don't even take into account the mindset part, the emotional, the psychological aspects. Your weight is a symptom. Think about your weight as the tree. Okay, it's the big bit that you see, everyone else sees. But underneath the ground are the roots. The root problems of why you're overweight. And it could be a lack of education. It could be confusion. It could be emotions, comfort, stress. It could be time management. It could be organization. It could be self-worth. What you need to understand is human beings always act and feel and perform in accordance with what they imagine to be true about themselves and environment. So if you believe that you're lazy or greedy or you can't be successful, then that will be true. So your mindset, how you feel about yourself, how you act, is all intertwined, and it's really, really important. So the first step you need to do is that self-belief, that new identity, so you can see that true potential. So let me explain. So if you believe that you want to lose 4 stone, but actually you don't believe you could get there, you could only lose a stone. You've got this small potential. You're only going to take small action, and you're only going to get small results. And that's going to reinforce this belief, I can't do it. Okay, I can't get those results. And this goes with everything in life. Okay, you have to start to believe, and hopefully this is part of the challenge which has helped you. Hopefully you've got some results this week and you're starting to believe you can do this. But that's not enough. I'm going to show you what else. So self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, so this all aligns with a psychological phenomenon. This is, backed up by research, that whether you think you can or can't, either way you're right. And this goes for a whole lot of stuff. Essentially, to create this lasting change, you have to shift your identity. Okay, if you carry on behaving the way you do now, if you carry on being the person you are now, and I don't mean you have to change everything, but you have to start having belief and self-worth and making decisions and choices that will benefit you. That doesn't mean being selfish. That doesn't mean, putting yourself above everyone else. It means putting yourself up there alongside everyone else. And this is vitally important. Okay, and ask yourself, why is it that your motivation disappears? Okay, it's not you. Like, you're here. If you're still here listening, you're motivated. But why is it when you follow that diet? Is it because it's too restrictive? Is it because it's boring? Is it because it's too hard? Is it because it doesn't include your favorite foods? Is it because of stress? Is it because you don't know how to manage your stress? Is it because you don't know how to manage your time? Is it because you're an emotional eater? Is it because of cravings? Like, what is it that impacts your motivation? And think about it. All those cheap, all those free options, like calorie counters are free online. You can get a free MyFitnessPal app to track your food. Recipes, BBC Good Food have calorie counted recipes for free. Meal plans are cheap or they're really free. All these options are free, but all they do is they tackle the symptom, your weight. They don't get to the root. They don't help you to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. They don't find what those barriers, those challenges are and help with those. And this is why you don't just need a meal plan. You don't just need motivation and willpower, because motivation and willpower are not going to be there every day. Being motivated is not a plan, it's not a strategy. A recipe book is not going to get you the results. Think about 3, 6, 9, 12 months down the line. Would you still be following a meal plan? Are you going to have motivation and willpower for that length of time? Is a recipe book the answer? To create lasting change. So if you're genuinely here because you want long-lasting sustainable change, you need to repeatedly make the right decision without conscious effort, without willpower, because it's not dependable. So I've talked loads. I'm going to take a little bit of a breather here. Is this all making sense? So let me know. Just put "make sense" in the comments so I can see that you're with me. You're still sticking around to the end. You're after those free giveaways that I'm giving away at the end. But this is also making sense and this is helpful. So how do we do that? Think about how you brush teeth. So when you're a kid, okay, you weren't motivated to brush your teeth. Okay, you didn't have to use willpower. You just were told to do it and you just did it and you repeated it and you repeated it and you repeated it until it became habit. And this is it. Okay, you need to create habits. And this is part of the habit creation process. So an example I like to use, because a lot of women I speak to, this is something they tell me about. So they walk in from work, they're stressed. So they turn on the kettle and they reach for the biscuits. So trigger is stressed, walking into the house. The action is a cup of tea, some biscuits. And the reward is a dopamine hit. The biscuit contains sugar and fat, which releases dopamine hit, actually relieves that stress for a short period of time. And this feedback loop's created. So then next time they're stressed, next time you walk in from work, you follow the same patterns. It's really, really easy to create bad habits and it's really hard to break them down. So reverse engineer that habit creation process. What good habits do you want to get into? What's going to be your triggers for doing them? And how are you going to reward yourself? Now, what I would recommend is don't reward yourself with food. You want to make it a non-food reward. So what do we do? Okay, how do we help with mindset? How do we help with habits? So what we do is we have a real kind of in-depth initial assessment where we really get to know the women we work with on so many levels, and we find what the building blocks are that they need, and we build them in sequential order. So one step at a time. And we make sure that we knock down all those barriers, challenges, and we see what's stopping them from building those habits before we move on to the next one. We work on that self-belief. Okay, like on the challenge, if we've done the 5 whys thing where you go, deeper and deeper with why is this important, and that helps with motivation. We get them to write self-doctrine about kind of who they want to be, why they want to be, how would that feel. We educate them on why and what they're doing so that they're super clear, there's no more confusion, and that empowerment helps them to feel motivated. We work one-to-one. So they have a call with a coach week after week, every single week. They have access to that coach on a daily basis to support them, to encourage them, but to get to what's holding them back, what are their barriers, and try and give them guidance and tools to break down those barriers. We provide a toolbox, so we have a whole range of coaches. We've got therapists, NLP practitioners, personal trainers, nutritionists. We give a toolbox and we personalize and tailor this to each individual, to their particular challenges. And as I said, everything is step by step. Unlike most diets, it's like, right, start the diet, no sugar, no caffeine, no this, no that, do this, do that, drink, blah, 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 or a list of things straight from the go. It doesn't need to be that way. All our women achieve incredible results by making 1 or 2 steps week after week. Make this change, start to lose some weight. Let's look at the next thing, lose more weight. The next thing, lose more weight. It's all step by step so that you feel successful, and we make those steps as simple and as easy as possible so that you feel successful, so you are motivated to continue going. And these are our 3 pillars. So food freedom, we help women get freedom with their diets to include the stuff they love. Sustainable steps, so this is building habits in sequential order, step by step. And we help them with their mindset to rewire that, to rediscover themselves, work on their self-worth. So imagine having that clear step-by-step guidance from an expert. Not from, someone who's reached their goal weight and is now leading a class, from nutritionists that have spent tens of thousands on their education, that have done this for hundreds of women. Imagine being able to eat with the family, to go out for dinner with friends, to enjoy your favorite wine, to eat chocolate and not feel guilt or shame. Realize that there's no good or bad foods. Imagine being in full control and never, ever having to diet again. That is completely possible. As I said at the start, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Now, as I said, I can't cover the whole 12-week program. I can't cover everything. And as I said, when women work with us, it is tailored, it's personalized. Okay, at the moment, this is all, generic overviews and top tips. Now, look, 100%, you could go away from this challenge. You've got some momentum. Hopefully, you've got some results. You could go it alone. But statistically, only, less than 1 in 10 gets their end goal and keeps the weight off. That's a really sad statistic with fat loss, because it is, it's challenging. And what I want you to ask yourself is, what's the cost of going it alone? What's the cost of not actually sorting this out? Getting to the root, finding a sustainable way. What's the cost of the diet club? Okay, £5 a week, but for how many years? We've had women that have worked with us that have spent $7,000 on the tens of years attending diet clubs. What's the costs of the shakes of Herbalife? What's the costs of the pills, of jumping from one diet to the next? They're financial costs, but what's the cost on your health? If things don't change, where will you be in 5-10 years? I know this could be really hard for some people to talk about and think about, but I want you to be really honest with yourself. What happens if you don't do this? If you continue to lose weight, regain it, and get heavier each time you start a new diet? And how does that impact you? How does that impact your relationships? Are you one of those women that we speak to that hides underneath the bed and avoids their partner? That is no longer has an intimate relationship? Is it impacting your joints? That you can't get down and play with the grandkids? That you get out of breath going up the stairs? That, how's this impacting your mental health? Like, be really honest with yourself. What is the cost to you? And this is my job. And by the way, I'm not pitching or selling it. There is no link to buy anything tonight. So please stick around. I am going to be giving stuff away for free. This is not a pitch to work with us, but I do have an opportunity to help. No pitch, nothing for sale, promise you, okay? But I want to highlight, look, this is our job. We've spent tens of thousands on our education. We've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of women to streamline and simplify what we do. And we understand that it's not just about what you eat, but it's about the things that impact what you eat. Like, how does your stress impact your eating habits? How does your time management, all of those kind of areas. But what you also need to think about is, look, even the women we work with have challenges. So going on your own, you're going to have challenges. How do you overcome them? There's going to be plateaus. How do you overcome them? And if you get to your goal weight, how do you maintain? What does that look like? Okay, if you can honestly, hand on heart, answer that and go it alone and do this all on your own, awesome. Like, I hope you're that 1 in 10. But there is an easier and faster way. You don't have to go it alone. Okay, and I've shown you loads and loads of testimonials this evening. We've got tons. Now, I'm not offering you an opportunity to work with us yet. Okay, as I said, I'm not trying to sell anything. This isn't a sales pitch, but I do have something I'd like to offer you that I think will give you even more than the challenge. So what I've done is I've opened up my diary over the next few days for a 5 to 10 minute clarity call. Okay, and the idea behind that call is to help you get clarity on what it is that you really want and what's really holding you back, and how you can get to where you want to be. Now, if we have that conversation and you're someone that I am 100% confident that we can help, and you're someone that's interested, then yes, I'd invite you onto a longer transformation call. Okay, where we can potentially talk about working together. But this 5 to 10 minute call, we will not be talking about working together. There will be no links to sign up. There'll be no buying anything. This is not to sell anyone. Okay, it's to get clarity on where you're at and what you need going forwards. And I can maybe provide some resources to help you afterwards. Okay, to keep you moving in the right direction. But as I said, some of you that book in this call, I will believe that we can help. And there will be women that are interested in taking that next step. And that's great if that's you, but there's not many women that we invite to those calls and not many women that want to take that next step. So, however, I'm just going to be straight up. This opportunity is only for women, only for you, if you're genuinely committed to changing and valuing your health. Okay? If you're just looking for another quick fix, if you're not ready for change, this is not for you. Okay? I want to help people, and I want to help people that are ready to help themselves. Okay? This is for women that, are going to throw the diets in the bin. All right? They're ready to get rid of those diets that haven't served them. Get rid of the quick fixes. This is for women that want long-lasting, sustainable changes, lifestyle changes, that are ready to invest in themselves, ready to invest, time, effort, money. If that's you, then take one of those slots. It's 5 or 10 minutes. That's it. And we're just going to have a chat. So what to do next? I've dropped a link. Hit the link. Book your slot. When your time comes up, you'll get reminders. Be ready with a pen and pad and somewhere with zero distractions. So don't be sat working on your laptop. Make sure you book a time where you can literally take 5 minutes out of your day. You can speak in private and we can have a chat about what's going on. All right, I'm either going to call you via Facebook Messenger or the mobile number that you've given when you've booked. All right, so hit the link, book a slot, and I'll do it as quickly as possible because there aren't loads of slots considering how many people are on the challenge. So grab your slot. Now look, if we did on this call decide that we're potentially going to work together, what happens next is we'll have that 5 to 10 minute call, and if I think we can help you and you're interested, then I'll invite you onto a transformation call. Now we typically only ask about 50% of people onto that next stage. And then at that transformation call, there are still no guarantees we'd work together. But on that longer transformation call, if we do decide to work together, you would end up working one-to-one with one of our highly qualified expert coaches for a 12-week program. We would get started right away. We would personalize and tailor everything to you to help you with your particular challenges. And we'd make sure that it fits in with you and your lifestyle so it's sustainable, so you can actually do this for the rest of your life. Genuinely, I mean this. I'm so passionate about this. There is nothing more important to me than my clients. And I'd expect you to drop at least a dress size within 12 weeks. So that's it from me. No sales, no pitch, and just some free gifts. So I'm going to drop another link now. Click on that link and some free gifts for you for sticking around to the end. If you've got any questions, feel free to private message me, get in touch. More than happy to answer all of them, but I hope to see lots of you on a clarity call, a 5-10 minute clarity call over the next few days to see if we can help you. Don't forget, click the link to book. If you want one of those calls, they will go quickly, and click the other link to make sure you get hold of your free gifts for sticking around to the end. I hope you enjoyed this evening. Let me know in the comments how you found it. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see you all soon.